Hello and welcome to another Star Citizen podcast. It's the 8th of September. I'm BoredGamer. You are whoever you are, and I'm here with Zin. Say hello, Zin.
Hello, Zin.
We're going to be talking about Alpha 4.3.1, which is out to Wave 1 on the PTU at the moment. Might go out to more waves by the time you see this later today. There's a load of additions with medical gameplay, MedGel. CIG have put some posts up about the future of medical gameplay as well. We've had the monthly report, there's been a Squadron 42 newsletter, and I'm going to ask Zin a load of questions that she is not prepared or responsible for answering properly. But I'm going to ask her anyway, because she represents the everyman, or every woman.
Every person.
The every person. You are my rubber duck, Zin, for which I explain Star Citizen 2.
Oh, thanks.
No worries, mate. So, Zin.
Yeah.
Alpha 4.3.1 is on Wave 1 PTU.
Yeah, when did that happen?
That happened last week.
Cool.
Happened over the weekend, pretty much. So, I think it was Friday or Saturday, it went to the Wave 1 PTU. Why did you ask me a question that I did not know the answer to?
I thought you'd be prepared.
Well, I was prepared, Zin, but the thing is that over the weekend, we, as you well know, were playing Primal The Awakening board game. So, 4.3.1 went to Wave 1 testers.
Last week.
Well, September 5th or 6th-ish, around then. So yeah, we've got Wave 1, 4.3.1 PTU. It's only got some of the features partly implemented. This is stuff like the Onyx Facility Science Wing, the third and final wing. For that, the continuation of that story, that's only partly implemented. That's because CIG want to get bug fixes and stuff in. They don't want people to know exactly how that ends in the PTU phase and stuff like that. They don't want a load of spoilers going around and for it to be partly broken when people are trying to complete it. But they've also added watchtowers and dropship stuff around villages and towns and all those outposts in Pyro, so that there's missions to like disable these watchtowers, which prevents dropships coming in to reinforce them. But if you fight at these areas and you lower the population below a certain limit, reinforcements turn up to repopulate those areas and fight you off. But that's not the main thing as part of 4.3.1's in.
No, what is?
It's medical updates, new medical gameplay.
Ooh.
The idea is that I don't think they're on at the moment, but they will be turning medical beacons back on. And I want to talk about that in a second because their plans are criminally low, sort of payout-wise. MedGel is the new stuff, and this changes the way you interact with medbeds on ships. At least at the moment, it's going to evolve somewhat in the future. But your Cutlass Red, for example, it's got your 2 tier 3 medbeds, yeah?
Yeah.
Each of those medbeds can hold one of the MedGel packs, which is 100 CSCU of MedGel. Yeah?
Okay.
So you've got 100 units of this medical stuff in a tier 3 bed. With that, you can respawn once. Bloop.
So it takes 100 or like most of 100?
It takes 100.
Okay.
And that allows you to respawn at that bed. And it's the same amount of resource for tier 1 and tier 2 beds. It costs 100 CSEU, 100 units, one container full of this medical goo, the MedGel, to respawn.
Okay.
The differences for the tiers of beds, at least at the moment in the short term, are that tier 3 beds can hold 1 container, tier 2 can hold 2 containers, and tier 1 beds can hold 4 containers. And the ranges at which they operate for respawn. So it's 50k units of measurement. What's the travel distance? Is it kilometers?
I think it's kilometers.
Yeah,
So it'd be 50,000
kilometers for tier 3 medbed. That's its range for respawn, which is most of a point of interest, sort of, and the general area, right?
Yeah.
It's 8 million for tier 2, which is be most of like a planetary area, most of the planet or whatever, and around that area. The planetary system potentially. And then tier 1 is 150 million kilometers, which is most of a star system, depending on the star system and where you're positioned, I suppose. So the other thing that those medbeds can do with those units of MedGel is it will cost 50 to treat all the injuries of the appropriate tier that the bed can deal with.
Okay.
So you can have general stabilization and general healing for free. doesn't cost any MedGel. But if you want a tier 3 injury dealt with, a tier 1 injury dealt with, as long as you've got the appropriate med bed to deal with that, 50 medical units, and they'll sort you out. The thing is that these MedGel containers, they cost, at the moment, 100,000 Alpha UEC.
Huh.
And you can store them just wherever. You can put them in your cargo bay.
Yeah.
You can keep them in your backpack. But once they're used from the med bed, you have to replace them manually. So what do you think of that? So that's the mechanics for 4.3.1 as they stand at the moment.
I guess. I mean, they seem a bit pricey.
But you don't want to keep on respawning, do you?
Well,
So,
I mean, I guess it's a...
you don't want to die, is what I'm saying, actually. You
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
respawn.
Well, no, you don't want to die.
Yeah.
But if you do die, then you want to be able to respawn in a convenient location. And you don't want to have to be paying a premium to do that.
But you were going to have to pay a premium to do that, right?
Apparently, yeah.
So I've seen other people talk about this and be like, well, actually, respawning should be the most frictionless part of the game. And you should actually make this significantly cheaper and easier to do, or at least expand it out so you can get a load more respawns from it. I don't really know yet. I think then this requires a bit of testing and refining, for sure. I'm fine with a few more respawns being available per medical pack. I was okay with them having the tier 3 med beds not allowing you to respawn a while ago. I thought there'd be some efficiency differences, was what I was expecting as well, like the tier 1 beds would be super efficient, but realistically they can just hold more and treat more at the same cost.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I think a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, great. A lot of people are going to be unaffected by it because they didn't have a medical ship anyway. It's certainly better than not having the option. Because you can spawn in a less convenient location, right?
Yeah. And I would assume that, say, my Cutlass Red.
Yeah.
Me and you've gone out on a mission, yeah? We've both gone down at some point. One of us has respawned in one bed. The other one of us has respawned in the other bed. And we don't have any spare gel, yeah?
Okay.
So then we either manage to finish the mission or we go, we should just, call it, come back at another time with more gunpowder or whatever.
More medical goo.
We then take my Cutty Red, fly back to a station, and rearm, refuel, and restock my ship. Does that include the MedGel? And is it the same cost?
So currently, I don't believe it includes the MedGel. However, if you put the MedGel in a ship, someone's going to need to tell us this. If you put the MedGel in a ship, is it either the intention or does it currently, when you store that ship and then take it back out, when you reclaim it, will it restore it to that as if you've made the changes?
Because I can kind of understand wanting to buy extra at this 100k price so that you have backup. But if I then go, I'm calling this mission and I'm going to go restock my ship, I don't think I should be paying the same price just to refill whatever's in my beds already.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, hopefully you wouldn't have to pay that, but I'd like it that it auto restocks, but you only pay for the stock that you're getting. We'll see. So eventually, obviously, all that stuff will be natural, and you'll just pay for any stock and stuff that you want. You'll be able to register your ship as part of item recovery. You'll be able to register your ship and then sort of stock it to that level appropriately every time without bugs. And if your ship blows up or whatever, you'll be able to reclaim it at that level. I'm just not sure what is stored and what saves over at the moment and what restocks and what doesn't at the moment. I believe currently that medical gel is manual only. And I think that
So my ship doesn't come with the gel already in the beds?
Does not come with the gel already in the beds.
Then I might as well just swap my ship for something else and not have a medical ship.
Why?
It's just making medical gameplay so expensive.
Yes. Well, it makes the respawn element of it expensive.
And the treating of injuries expensive.
And the treating of injuries. But I mean, general stabilisation and healing is free. So stabilisation, for example, I believe will mean that I've got a tier 2 injury. I can go to the med bed and it will stabilise me, which means for at least some period of time, I'm not afflicted by that tier 2 injury. Well, I'm afflicted by it, but it doesn't cause me any detrimental effects for a period of time. Yeah, so exactly, this stuff needs 100% to be refined, because the other things is that the document talked about with medical beacons being back on. What do you think is an appropriate amount of money to get paid for a medical beacon?
Yeah.
15,000 Alpha UEC. And I was like, that's not worth it.
Yeah. Well, it is if you just come in and stabilise them.
Yes.
they don't get any medbed
maybe
treatment, because that's now like 50k for repairing a limb.
Yeah, so exactly that. You're effectively want to stabilize them without using your MedGel. So 15k is pretty low amount. And how much have you effectively saved the hospital? Now, I think the intention there is that the player pays that 15k as a reward, but I think that you should also have the game, basically the insurance company, going, well, yeah, we're paying out for that person to be saved, so we don't have to deal with their imprint. Things like that. And you want it so that that's not exploitable as well. You don't want your mate just to keep on going, you're down, I get you up, I get 15k or whatever. You're down, I get you up, repeatedly. So, sorry, carry on.
Well, I was going to say, you can carry on, but I'm going to take this on another different direction as well.
Oh, please do. Let's go tangentially off in a different direction.
What about locations where you can find medbeds to heal in?
What about them?
Are they only going to have one canister of MedGel in them?
Well,
do you have to put your MedGel in it to have it work? Like the Siege of Orison. You could go up to those buildings and there would be a medbed. It might only be T3, but maybe that's all you need. How many people can use it?
That's very interesting that you mentioned that, because the Future of Gameplay document that they also produced with this says you'll have the ability to imprint on multiple medical beds
I'm not talking about imprinting. I'm talking about healing.
Okay, so there are different types of medbed that you will discover in the verse. Some of them are auto-dock beds, which will automatically refill their MedGel, but can't be interacted with players in other ways. So you won't manually refill it, it will automatically refill when certain conditions are met. So that will be like the ones at Siege of Orison, for example. I like the idea that you'll be able to potentially control areas like at Siege of Orison and be able to respawn there because of it, because you control that area. Things like that.
But I suppose that'll come along with ownership of areas, basically.
Yeah, probably. So there's a lot of stuff they talked about with the future of it, with setting permissions, so who can use it, player-defined fees, so we can run a Apollo, fly it around as a little medical facility and have people respawn there, but charge them for that. They get the choice of being able to spawn there. So there's a load of stuff that they want to do, so that you can choose where you regen. There's limits to that regen. There's cooldowns associated with it. They need a whole refactor for the medical beacons and UI updates. And all of the stuff that's currently there in game that we talked about that we're like, or we don't like that, or maybe that should be different, they are iterating on. And it might change significantly even in the PTU phase, although that's probably only a couple of weeks away before live. So it will change at least a bit, and then in the future it will change significantly. I think we both agree that there needs to be changes to what they've got planned there. And I think that some people are 100% on board with what you were saying with medical gameplay and respawning, and having these medical ships is just too expensive at the moment to make use of them properly.
Yeah.
And fiddly. Because you've got to have the MedGel with you, and what if your ship then gets blown up or someone steals all the MedGel? Because medical ships are going to be like, that's potentially a prime resource of stealing MedGel, which is super valuable.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they could have it, because obviously we saw the teaser of the MedGel recharge station.
Yes.
Maybe you can have it so that you can take your empty canister. If they have empty canisters, maybe the whole thing gets like munched up at the moment. I don't know.
Yeah, I think at the moment it gets fully munched up, at least I believe.
But maybe you can take your canister and pay less to get it refilled, even if it takes a little bit of time. And the 100k outlay, like maybe you're in a hurry and you're like, oh, I've got like 500k I can spend. I'll buy a couple of canisters. I'll get my current canisters refilled for cheaper, and I'll come back tomorrow and pick them up, and then I'll get these ones refilled. And the overall being able to redo it is cheaper.
You sort of a medical jump town as well. Maybe there's facilities that allow you to, like, even the Onyx facilities, like draining the goo out of it, like things like that. I quite like that idea. I think that's all the cool ideas, and the medical gameplay and all of this and the economy aspect of it needs a load of iteration on. But CIG did say they are aware that at the moment it is expensive, and there's no economic benefit to doing the medical gameplay and the medical beacons and all that sort of stuff. However, they want players to do it for the love of doing it and helping their fellow player out.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like, I'm very much interested in doing the medical gameplay stuff.
Me too.
And I guess that's why I'm a bit annoyed about this. Because, I don't often do other missions to get money.
I just feel that the medical beacon rewards, I think the problem is it could be exploited, but the medical beacon rewards for me feel like that they should be hugely high. Like you're paying extreme premiums and people are potentially fighting to get those contracts. Because like, no, I'm the really cool drama team. No, I'm a really cool drama team. And you should be able to look through a list of people and go, yeah, I'll choose these guys. They've got 6 stars. So a lot of iteration, a lot of cool stuff they can be doing in the future. Tell us what you think about medical gameplay in the comments below and what direction you want to see it go in. We'll be doing deeper dives into the current medical gameplay because I'll do a full video on Alpha 4.3.1's medical updates and then the beyond 4.3.1 future of medical gameplay that CIG have got planned, because this isn't even Death of a Spaceman, it's some steps towards it. I've also realised in the last few weeks that I'm not actually pro Death of a Spaceman in the way that it was originally pitched. I am much more up for gamifying the game and having a bit of death tax, having a bit more Eevee cloniness, have it so that you don't want to die and you're incentivized not to die, and then you have that mortality aspect that CIG wanted, and potentially even scars and damage and even potentially more permanent injuries or semi-permanent injuries that you then have to go and treat eventually. But I want the ability to be able to clear my imprint and pay to have my imprint or pay for insurance. And maybe there are more dangerous ways of living if I'm an outlaw and I'm like really badly injured to keep on dying. And maybe, eventually my toon can die if I want, potentially even because I want them to have a legacy. Tell me what you think about that in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Death of Spaceman Sin? And permadeath in Star Citizen?
Well, it's going to be rare, I think.
I hope.
Because like I said, the whole point of regeneration is to be able to come back, but it depends on how violent and damaging, traumatic your death was.
And constant and consistent. And I think there's a lot of other stuff potentially going on there, like the quality of your imprint and how close you were to the medical facilities and things like that, right? Yeah, I suppose we'll just have to see what happens, and I'm interested to know what other people think. And the joy of Star Citizen, especially it being an alpha, is that your points of view and thoughts and the ways you want the game to be made will influence the way the game is made. Monthly reports in.
Yeah.
So we've got the Squadron 42 newsletter, and we've got the Persistent Universe monthly report. I'll give you some little tiny highlights of the monthly report, but we have covered it in a video already. The Anvil Paladin and the RSI Perseus, they're close to release. The Perseus is going to be released for the IAE in November. That is one of my favourite ships. Are you excited for either of those? Paladin's that cool gunship.
Really?
Perseus is this it's a large anti-capital ship. Got the RSI Aurora and the Aegis Hammerhead. They are working on them to get them up to gold standard. So I love the Aurora and those sort of starter ships. I think that's super important. We've got 4 unannounced ships being worked on. There's some medical-related ones being worked on. They're bringing back some of the old missions. They're updating older locations for missions. I wonder if they'll bring back Tessa Bannister and that sort of those missions. I know that's a little bit before your time.
She's in a thingy at the moment, isn't she?
She's in a cryopod. Oh, you listen to me.
Although apparently it's spelt differently.
It is spelt differently.
But maybe that's just Wicklow, unable to write in English.
Well, he writes in English fine. He does the same problems I do with names and just totally gets them wrong.
I suppose.
There's a load of core gameplay updates as well that they've been working on, like the new inventory, quantum travel experience, the Amsterdam flight and control services, crafting, engineering, item recovery, and a lot of that stuff is going to be in-game in the not-too-distant future. There's a new creature. Shall I spoil it for people or not?
Has it been spoiled? And who by?
I'm not sure if it's been data mined or if it's rumoured. You can. There's some big creatures and stuff being worked on by CIG. Go check out my spoiler warning video if you want to know more about that. Always treat those sort of things as rumours, and they may hugely change or may even not be put in the game. Stuff like that changes. Squadron 42 updates in.
Yeah.
So these newsletters are now quarterly rather than every 2 months.
Maybe they'll have a bit more information in them then.
Well, so they're not monthly reports like they used to be. And it's been like that for the last 18 months or so, right? Or something like that last year. But CIG said, as part of this newsletter, development continues tracking towards our intended release in 2026. And we hope you've been enjoying this year's new direction for the Squadron 42 newsletter as it continues on its new quarterly schedule. We'll reveal more when we get closer to the game's launch. And until then, We'll hope that you'll pardon our heads down approach as we work to achieve that milestone. In the meantime, we invite you to check out what Star Citizen team has been up to at this year's CitizenCon Direct, airing Saturday, October 11th at 8 p.m. UTC. People are saying that what CIG said with that statement basically implies that there's not going to be any Squadron 42 updates or information at CitizenCon this year. Do you think it implies that?
I mean, maybe, because they say Star Citizen team, and I assume they are referring to the team working on Star Citizen as opposed to Squadron 42.
Are they not all the Star Citizen teams in?
Yeah, but I mean, but surely maybe they would refer to them as CIG rather than Star Citizen team.
Maybe. I think people are reading too much into that. I'm expecting a Squadron 42 hard release date. I'm expecting them to start a advertising campaign and maybe a little tiny trailer or something for Squadron. I'm not expecting a vertical slice. I'm not expecting what we got last year. I am expecting like a 5 to 10 minute section, but basically a big bam, stuff's happening. We don't know. So we'll have to wait and see. There is a cool map with this newsletter, though, and I actually quite liked it. It's going over all of the Odin system and the coil and where Squadron 42 is largely set. Mm-hmm. So some cool stuff there. A lot of stuff we already know about Acidio Station and Odin 1A, Gainey, the coil sort of. So basically it's the system's a white dwarf system and one of the planets was destroyed and that became the coil.
I'm pretty sure I've already done lore on Odin's system.
Yes, you have. And we've talked about it a few times, but we'll be doing a Squadron 42 update later this week, and we'll go over all of that. Also interesting, the Odin system is connected to Nyx. I think we're going to see Nyx released for Star Citizen at the end of the year. Do you think that's a possibility as well, Zin, or do you think I'm highly biased?
No, I think it's a possibility because I think we know that they've been working on it.
Mm-hmm. And especially if they want to get 1.0 released by the end of 2028. They're going to have to release some of these star systems.
But it'll be a nice sort of thing to release coming up to the possible release of Squadron 42.
Yes.
To have Nyx and you're like, oh, this is kind of happening just the system over, or has been happening just the system over.
Yeah. It sort of helps bring the game together. And I do think we might start seeing Vandal in game soon. Like I was talking to you, like saying, what if we see a Vandal or a Vandal boss or fightable FPS Vandal at the Onyx facilities and in game soon. Well, maybe I'm crazy, but maybe I'm not. We'll have to wait and see. Tell us what you think in the comments below. And are you excited for CitizenCon Direct on the 11th of October? What are you expecting to see? Are you expecting to see a traditional Squadron 42 sort of advertising campaign and them give a hard release date? Or are you going, nah, they're going to tell us about that next year or something? Anything else you want to talk about, Zin?
Just because obviously we kind of talked a lot about medical gameplay, but and you did bring it up, but I do like the idea of being able to imprint on multiple medbeds.
Yes, you'll be able to imprint on multiple medbeds is the plan, and also choose the medbeds you respawn on. So what do they actually say with multiple imprints at once? The first key to this will allow you to have multiple imprints at different locations simultaneously, allowing you a tactical choice upon incapacitation if no help is available, of choosing where you regenerate next. These choices will fall into one of the 4 categories. Landing zone, the last landing zone hospital bed you imprinted on. Ship and vehicle, the last vehicle you imprinted on. Home base, the last medical bed you imprinted on at your home base or your org, where your org space is. And temporary, a bed that doesn't fall under these categories, for example, point of interest like Stormbreaker or the Siege of Horizon.
Yeah.
And then there's a load of conditions and different types of bed with auto MedGel refills for some of them, manual refills for some of them, temporary imprints, timers and stuff. But yeah, I totally agree with you, Zin. I think that's sort of super important for medical gameplay. But as I said, I'm moving further away from hard death of a spaceman death, except in extreme circumstances that you're sort of aware that you're going down, but are avoidable. Tell me if we're wrong in the comments below, or if I'm wrong with that, or Zin's wrong. Or if we're right. What do you think? Tell us. Say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
Thanks very much for watching. You should get yourself some NordVPN, the link's below. Zin, why would people want some NordVPN other than the fact it's just great and you get discount and VPN?
Because it makes you more private and have more accessible internet and more security on the internet.
All of those things and more. And it helps the channel. Click the links below. Thank you very much for watching. We love you lots. Take care. Bye. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and for this month of September we are giving away an RSI Apollo Triage, a medium-sized flying medical clinic. It also comes with lifetime insurance and access to Star Citizen with a game package. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during this month of September. If you would like to further support the channel, please remember to like, share, subscribe, watch my other videos on the channel for everything Star Citizen related. There's a load of useful links below as well to a load of stuff that I support or support me in some way with like NordVPN and all that sort of jazz, Game Glass, loads of cool stuff. But also, you could clickety-click on the join button under my videos to help support the channel even more by giving a little bit of money. Oh, isn't that good? Get a load of exclusive little bonuses as well. Or you can use Patreon to do pretty much the same thing, whatever you fancy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great September, and I'll see you in the verse.